Alright everyone, time for another video. Today we're going to check out the Fenix PD35. It is another single 18650 light there. That's an 18650, give you a little bit of size comparison there. And get a gratuitous little back of the box shot there. So what do we got? We're saying turbo 1000 lumen, 2 hour 50 minutes according to Fenix, 250 meter throw, and 15,600 candela. Going all the way down, your lowest mode is 3 lumens on this one, and 430 hours, 13 meters, 42 candela, with all the stuff in between. So we got 1 meter impact resistance. This one also, it seems to be a trend with them. I hope they stick with it. IP68, so submersible up to 2 meters, or in theory 30 minutes, and it should be entirely protected from the ingress of dust. So completely dust and waterproof, not a diving light, just waterproof. What it comes with, your standard Fenix lanyard here, and then you got 2 spare O-rings for it, and a spare tail switch cap, and of course an instruction book, and a little Fenix warranty card, and then the little Fenix propaganda thing that's always in with their lights, and also the standard Fenix holster. So you got their typical little belt loop there. It's just I guess that's probably double stitched there. Then you got the little lanyard loop thing there, and there's a little bit of space at the bottom. There's simple Velcro, fits in there. A little tiny space at the bottom, a little bit of space at the top. I didn't have a problem with it completely coming out, but and you can see I don't have that on there super tight. It would just go maybe like that. So I wasn't in significant danger of losing the light. Put it on a little bit tighter there. So even with it on tighter, that's probably about what I was getting there. So I wasn't really in danger of losing the light. This holster worked out just fine for me. So this is like some of their other lights. This one, not just the tail cap comes off, but also the head comes off too. So I don't know if they're going to do the same thing what they did with the PD35 Tactical Edition. So you can see the head comes off, so it's a 3-piece little tube light here. And I know with the PD35 Tac they were starting to offer different colors of just the center of the tube there. Not a big deal to me, but I don't know, a lot of people seem to really like it. So other things you got going on here, you got the Fenix pocket clip. It's pretty strong, pretty tight, but not so tight where you can't get it on and off your pants. You can just pull it off. It's just a straight pull off. There is not another place on the other side to put it. That's pretty typical. You've got the anti-roll here, and then the kind of sort of anti-roll on the back. That's seems pretty standard. Your little cooling fins and additional parts there. 1000 lumen max output, so it will get hot if you leave it on turbo for more than a minute or two. Like one to 2 minutes. It's, I don't know, it didn't burn my hand, but it was definitely getting warm. Pocket clip stays in place pretty well. You can move it around, but it's stiff enough that it wasn't a problem for me. Momentary on and constant on. You don't have to let go of it. I just did that. And then changing modes, that's why I leave the pocket clip on there, so I can index off of it and just use that to change modes. So it's just your little eco, that's the 3, and then up to the next mode there. Was that 50 lumens, 150, 350, and 1000. So, and then there's the hidden strobe. You hold it down for half a second, and you get the strobe there. Turn this guy off there. I really like this, and there's the reflector there for you. Pretty smooth reflector. That's what the button switch is, just typical Fenix button switch, and you got the 2 little things on either side for your lanyard. It will not tail stand. Doesn't do that. Not a big deal for me. Overall, I really like this. I went back and forth between this and the FD30 that I had been carrying for quite a while, off and on at work, in between testing other lights out. But that one was my favorite. I kept going back to that, and I was pretty torn between that and this. I kept going back and forth for I think about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'd carry one, then for 1 to 2 days, and then go back to the other one. And I ended up staying with this. So I went ahead and sold my FD30 that I had. I'm going to miss the beam adjustment that it had, but I don't really use it much. There were times where it was nice to have, but I didn't use it much. Um, yeah, so the tail switch is about the same. I think that one was a little rounder, like towards the inside there. It was a little rounder, but both are just as easy to operate on the tail switch. And what ended up winning me over with this is I'm not even sure the buttons actually are closer together. I can't think now, and I don't have the light to compare. Just when you pull it out of the sheath, it's just a more natural fit for me. It's with the FD30, I'd have to mash like the whole bottom of my hand. Now with this one, I can pretty reliably. I mess it up once in a while, just squeeze my pinky there, and it'll reliably hit the side switch there to change modes. And something else this guy has is a battery meter, so you can see the side switch is different. It only stays on for a little bit, and it doesn't come on in between modes, so it doesn't stay on. But when you first turn it on, get green, and then it'll go to red and flashing red. So that's your little battery level indicator there. It's not super bright, it doesn't cast a glow, kind of like the through nights. Very similar to that. It's not exactly the same design though, because it's a button inside of a ring, so maybe that's how they're getting away with it without getting in trouble, I don't know. But basically it's the same thing. The button does have I guess that's a copper color accent, so if adding a little bit of accent and highlight is your thing, then that's right there. Personally, I didn't care about it. It does make the button stand out a little bit more when the light is off, or when you're in the dark. Fairly dark, I guess, but so that was pretty nice too. And my own times that I did for the battery, I used a Fenix 2600 milliamp battery, and starting in turbo and then turbo once every 30 minutes. It went down to high only at 1 hour and 30 minutes, and at 3 hours it would only go up to medium, 3 hours and 30 minutes low only, and at 5 hours it would only go into eco mode, so the 3 lumen mode. At 22 hours it was still going, so I don't know if they're I don't know how long it would go. Let me look at this again here. 430 hours if you start in just the eco mode, so it might have gone for like a week longer if I let it. Maybe, I don't know. I wasn't really willing to sit around the house for a week to find out for sure. But yeah, 22 hours on that eco. But there were some other lights too. I wasn't sure which one I was gonna get next. There was the PD35 TAC, and these are just about, it's like 0.1 inches. One of them's, I think one of them's 0.1 inches longer than the other one, and like 0.1 ounces heavier than the other one. So it's not a huge difference there. The tactical one has where you can just use the on-off from the switch, and then you can, from the tail switch, and you can turn the side switch off, or you can do everything through the side switch. This one doesn't do that. And then there's the UC35, I believe it was, and that one's a USB rechargeable, about the same size as this. It looked pretty close to like as far as the numbers go, pretty close. I think this one one of them was a little bit more intense. It might have been the UC35 there. This one was $70, I think it was, and the UC35 was $80 or $90. But you know, their rechargeable lights always come with a battery. Alright, so we're doing some drop tests with the PD35 V2 here, and it's not, it's 2 drops, that's just waist level, and the floor is pretty hard, but it's linoleum. It's not like it's solid concrete off the roof. Tail cap is tight, and let's see, okay, alright, so the head just came a little bit loose, which is kind of odd, but okay. So let's do a couple more drops just to see what happens. So drop test is not a failure. It did worry me a little bit though, so now we're going to head over to do some waterproof testing. Okay, so because of the head came loose there, make sure both ends are, the head and the tail cap are both tight on there before we throw it in the water. And I will go ahead and fast forward once the water starts here. Okay, so about 10 more seconds, 5 more for 1 minute. Yeah, I was really worried about that. Looks like it's working out though. Okay, so that's 1 minute. Alright, let's get this guy dried off and then we'll check it out again. Alrighty, so we just finished doing our waterproof test. And get this guy dried off before we start pushing buttons. Looks like it's totally dry around the tail cap, or the side switch. And see if we can get a little dry in there. Okay, so it looks like we're all dry. So it's eco, low, medium, high, turbo, strobe, yeah, strobe, eco, low, medium, high, turbo. Alright, so it looks like it works there. Side switch, momentary, and you can see the, oh, that's much better. Yeah, see there's no real glow to the side switch there. Okay, so on off. You can see that's you can hear that's a pretty loud switch there. Alright, so it seems like it passed waterproof testing. I don't see anything in there. Pull the tail cap off real quick. And I don't see anything. A little shiny from the grease. And by the way, this is I've been not cleaning the threads when I use it. Ooh, you see a little water there, but it didn't make it past the O-ring there. That's just from me opening it right there. Kind of dry that off a little bit. And then my battery looks dry too. I don't see anything inside the tube there. So, alright. Yeah, it's I may open the batteries, or open the lights a little bit here and there to just check the battery, see how it's doing. But I don't clean the threads until I'm done with my review. If it's supposed to be dust proof. If it's not supposed to be dust proof and I see that the threads are dirty and it's creeping up higher and higher, then I'll go ahead and clean them. But this was dust proof rating, and you just saw that from this time, and when I first started there was no dust in there, so I would say it passed that too. So alright, man, it's a little bit cheaper than the UC35. I believe that other one is like 2000 candela more intensity, so it's not nothing, and it gets a little bit more range. But this is I'm just buying this for a general purpose work light, so it is a little bit hot spotty in the middle for what some people are going to want. But I use the lower modes now because it is so much of an intense hot spot in there, and now my battery charge lasts longer, and I just don't really need the higher modes now. But they're still there because once in a while you do need those higher modes. I do anyhow. So alright guys, if you have any questions, just throw them out there. I'm sure I'm not the first person to hit this. This has been out for a few months now. But I really like this one. This is now my new work light. If you got any questions, throw them down there. Please consider subscribing, and if you found the video helpful at all or liked it at least a little bit, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Thanks guys. See you next time.